Nurmagomed Mamuyev, a 32-year-old Chechen national, disappeared after German authorities deported him from the country, the Memorial Human Rights Center reported. Mamuyev had been on European territory since 2009. He's been living in Berlin for the last 9 years. Mamuyev's wife told the human rights activist that on the night of March 24th, police broke down the door and took her husband away without letting him take anything but his jacket and shoes. When she went to the police station in Berlin the next morning, she didn't receive any information about her husband. It was only later that she was told that Mamuyev was already in Russia. On March 25th, officers of the Urus-Martinovsky district police station brought him to his mother's house in Shalaz. But the next morning, a group of men in plain clothing did not show any documents or introduce themselves. When his relatives called the Urus-Martin District Internal Affairs Department and informed them about these people, they were told that they were law enforcement personnel and that Nurmagomed should go with them. Since then, the whereabouts of Mamuyev have been unknown, and his relatives, who again went to the Urus-Martin District Department of Internal Affairs, were told that Mamuyev was not in their possession. The Court of Appeal in Sweden raised from 10 years to 12 years the sentence for Ruslan Mamayev, who made an attempt on the life of Chechen blogger Tumso Abdurakhmanov last February. The Swedish prosecutor's office attributed the attack on the blogger to his criticism of Ramzan Kadyrov's late father, Akhmad Kadyrov. Elmira Shepieva, the attacker's accomplice, got her sentence reduced from 8 years to 18 months. During the trial, it was established that the assassination attempt had been prepared in advance, and therefore, meetings were held in Grozny and Moscow. Mamayev himself had been ordered to pay 60,000 euros for the murder. However, now, according to the verdict of a Swedish court, he'll have to pay 140,000 Swedish kroner in compensation to the victim. New sanctions were introduced against Russia by the European Union. They concern the Chechen Deputy Prime Minister and commander of the Special Rapid Response Brigade Terek, Abuzaid Vazmuradov, and the former head of the Argun Police, Ayub Katayev. They're forbidden to enter the European Union, and if their bank assets are found in EU territory, the deposits of both Russian officials will be frozen. In February of this year, the Chechen Human Rights Association, Vejfond, appealed to the European Union to join the American and British sanctions against Ramzan Kadyrov and his entourage. The appeal recalled the contract murders and assassination attempts on Chechens in Europe, which Kadyrov's men were behind. The official letter also drew attention to the fact that Kadyrov's cronies still feel at ease in the territory of the European Union. It's not known whether this appeal has had any effect on the European Union's latest decision, but in any case, it's exactly the kind of action that Vejfond expected from the EU, and hopefully, it won't be the last against these and other Russian criminals. Meanwhile, Russian official Ramzan Kadyrov is handing out expensive gifts to athletes at his Akhmat fighting club. 3 of his fighters received the keys to Mercedes cars, which, according to Kadyrov, were provided by the Akhmad Kadyrov Foundation. It's no secret in Chechnya that this foundation, which is owned by Kadyrov's mother, is financed by, among other things, forced deductions from the salaries of state workers. Expensive gifts to famous athletes do not make residents of the republic, where the unemployment rate is one of the highest among Russian regions, according to the news survey. People in need of medical care are often forced to declare medical fundraisers themselves, and some are forced to live in trailers because they lack the money to buy housing, which was destroyed by the Russian army during active combat operations in the early 2000s. It should also be remembered that last December, the Akhmad Kadyrov Fighting Club and Foundation were put on the US sanctions list due to numerous human rights violations in Chechnya.